Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL Podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I'm joined by Baker. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. Yes, weird. Sunday morning pod. Look at us, all matching in our great.
I was going to say, have we got the same T-shirt on?
I don't think it is. I've got
No.
a slightly thicker neck collar, but mine looks like it needs an iron more than anything else. But that's not for me. But yeah, look at us in grey and pre-midday. Anyone would think it was Ryder Cup weekend.
That might be exactly the reason why we're here, to be honest.
Yeah, it didn't feel right to just wait, did it, till tomorrow night and do it? Because Everton West Ham's a big game, even bigger now, new manager.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise, like especially for farming him out on the week, on like the end of the week for the press conferences, trying to talk about the team and all this sort of stuff, and then it's just absolute nonsense now. It doesn't matter.
You got Potter joking about the fact of the face swaps and all this stuff and all that, and then suddenly, oh, I was actually out yesterday morning with a West Ham fan, a fellow dad, as the news came in, and I was literally just saying to him, "Well, you can't sack him now because he's all over social media. He's good for your PR." And then literally notification, Potter sacked.
Bing, gone.
He's gone.
It was funny. It was funny because John in our WhatsApp chat was immediately like, "Well, that's Nuno," and then within 20 minutes it was like announced, like Fab was all over it and like it's done. Oh, right, okay. So obviously, just it feels like it's all well planned. Like all this stuff was well planned. Like the Forest one, like Nuno coming in, well planned. West Ham one, Nuno's there, he's ready, well planned. You know, it's amazing how quickly they've turned this around. But yeah, we'll see how that impacts them tomorrow night. I mean, it can't be bad for them, I don't think. But I don't really expect them to change much. Like he's going to get a day. Like nothing's going to change.
I guess what you will have from Nuno Ball is we probably should make some early takes around like Mavropanos and Kilman will be like DEFCON monsters because they already are, and they're just going to become it incredibly DEFCON monster. So that's sort of interesting. You know,
well, especially for the fixtures they've got coming up now. Like they're about to move into some really for them, a really favourable set of fixtures.
Yeah, and then the next part you're looking at is just what does he do with Bowen? Because Bowen's interesting. 7.7, wherever he is, you know, is if he decides he's going to play him through the middle, then can you imagine Bowen doing a Chris Wood type, score 1 goal every game and walk away with 9 points every game? You could imagine it. It's just whether he plays up front or not. Or does he try and make one of because Fulkrug's like the closest profile to Chris Wood.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if it's all about feed Fulkrug, then is that really bad for Bowen? So I think tomorrow night becomes very, very interesting. But anyway, we've got 7 games to talk about from yesterday.
We do. It was a bit of an interesting start to the game week. Obviously, I was on the golf course. I think it's probably fair to say I'm never always the best prepared for things like Wildcard, and I guess it didn't seem that way when you were messaging me like, what are you in between? And I was like, well, I don't know if to hit 4-iron off the first tee or not. Like that was kind of where my mindset was at. But no, I was just contemplating whether to actually just go a little bit rogue and, you know, throw the template out the window a little bit. And I guess I did. And, you know, in places it's paid off because I've got some good players for the future. But unfortunately, those players at the moment are sitting on my bloody bench. So we can go through that. Let's have a quick look at the game week scores so far. Obviously, this is very early, 7 games in, 3 to go. But just so people can see what the wild card looks like. So opted for sort of the keeper pairing of Raya and Dubravka. Just felt that was just really obvious from the two. Decided against Gabriel, went Romero, and then alongside him have Senesi and Tarkovsky in this week. And on my bench, I have Goodmanson. But first on my bench, I've got Alderete, unfortunately, with 17 points.
17 points.
Like if Tarko wants a rest, mate, I mean, he's more than welcome to it, seriously. Or if Saka's not quite right, if they both just want to just take the weekend off, I'm cool.
Oh, mate. If they both have the weekend off.
So that's my 5 at the back. I've got Reinders, Saka to come today. I've got Bruno and Brian Mbeumo, and we'll talk about that. And then I've got Enzo Fernandez, which was Caicedo, but became Enzo, so that was nice. Again, I mean, more for the next couple of weeks. The United boys were in there, and I kind of just really wanted Saka, especially with if I wasn't going to go Gabriel, I wanted the guy
Mm.
crossing the ball into the box at these corners and stuff like that. So at least, you know, there's a tiny bit of cover. If next week set pieces are a problem, I mean, set pieces might not be a problem from tomorrow for West Ham. We don't even know. Like, this might be one of the things that gets immediately changed.
Yeah.
And obviously with the United stuff, it was more because, you know, their attack's been good. Like, objectively, it's been good. They have had a couple of penalties. They've had 3 now, but objectively, their attack's been pretty good. And so, you know, leaning into that, thought it was a good plan for a couple of weeks. And Bumo at his old club, obviously just has no shots at all. Cheers, Brian. But yeah, I mean, obviously I was very unlucky with that. And then for the up front, I got Haaland captain this week. I Richarlison against Wolves. And then for game week 8, like, this guy came in really for me for game week 8, but I got Thiago on the bench for Brentford. And obviously he's scored twice yesterday. Like, yeah.
30 points across the first 2 subs, mate.
And then you got the Brian and the Brian and Bruno shambles as well. Like, this week was like so close to like a top 100k game week rank. So it was like so close. I mean, to be fair, Alderete at times. So if I'd had Caicedo in, I think Alderete would have played. I think I would have had him against Forest.
Yeah,
he did come in a few times, but like, once Enzo had come in, like, he was always going on the bench, and I think that was a reasonable choice. Like, yeah, I don't think there's anything there.
I think it's exactly where you'd be. Exactly.
So yeah, 55 points right now, but you know, it's good. It's good. We're making moves towards in the right direction. So.
Saka and Ryder and Tarko to come, mate. You've got 3 games
Saka and Tarko to come. Yeah, mate.
Well, my week is triple captain Haaland, and then a load of rubbish. In all honesty, is with not a huge amount to come. So obviously I've got no Arsenal to come, and I've only got Dewsbury Hall from Everton. So it's all on Anderson and Dewsbury Hall to keep the week alive, or at least, you know, not allow any more dents into it. But Sales in goal with another disaster class. Big Joe. I was very comfortable that Rodon was probably going to come on from Murillo. That was like a relatively fairly known after the Friday press conference. So was always happy to play him. Porro, we'll talk about that when we talk about Tottenham, but I expected Porro to play, so he was always going to start for me over Richards. And yeah, then across the middle, Semenyo gets a goal because somehow he gets a goal every week. Xavi with a disaster class 1. Mo Salah, blank. Reinders, blank. João Pedro, blank. But 48 points from triple captain Haaland, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean, those are the two. Salah and João Pedro are the two that really kind of saved my week from being a bad week in a bad week, and or being an average week in a bad week.
Yeah.
A bad week to have an average week, that whatever. And if those two had popped off, obviously, I mean, I would have really, really struggled because we'd have been seeing hundreds everywhere, like close to anyway. But yeah, I mean, I did have a quick look. So as again, we're just obviously early on here, so I had a quick look at just optimized and just very quickly to go through this. I mean, at the moment, I'm 8 points ahead of the top million average, and that's projected to finish about 9.5. So overall, it's a good week, and moving towards the top million, I think, is a good sort of benchmark to look at the moment. Obviously, with the ranks the way they are, and then looking at yours, you're about 25 points ahead, but you were expected to be 15 points ahead with the Haaland triple cap as well. And you're projected to be 22. So you're expecting a small drop off from now. I'm expecting a tiny jump, but football's football. So we'll see where the chips lie.
I'd happily handshake at a small drop off.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would happily handshake at that.
Fair enough. And that's and that's where we are. So just very quickly, just say hello to the 200 people that have joined us in the chat on the stream nice and early. Yes, you will have noticed that the Ryder Cup is on, as we mentioned at the very beginning. So yeah, we'll be watching the Ryder Cup later. And tomorrow with Everton West Ham, it's going to be, you know, an interesting game for everyone. And I think we all just actually want to be watching that game, to be honest. So you can watch now rather than watch tomorrow night. And
I was thinking about it. I will do a Patreon video on the Arsenal game because I think there's a really strong chance that I'm going to press the wildcard button today. Very strong chance that I will press it today. If I feel like I'm in a position where I know what free Arsenal I want, then yeah, I'm pretty sure that will be pressed. And so I'll be really interested in it. So you'll get the majority of their games. I don't think many people are going to be that interested in, Fulham versus Villa for any Fulham v Villa fans. And then look, we'll all be watching their Everton West Ham game because it's the only game on tomorrow night. So you don't really need our insight for that one. But I will try and do some bits around both Arsenal and Newcastle, because is Newcastle relatively interesting. Obviously, Gordon, Voltemada, Pope, Dan Burn. There's a few guys on there that I like. So, yeah, I'm going to do some scouting on that one, and I'll put a Patreon video out. It'll be free. We don't really promote it enough, but all of the videos that we put out on Patreon are completely free. You won't get a notification through YouTube. You won't get a notification like anywhere on like your podcast apps and so forth. But if you just sign up for free, which means just basically putting your email in, you will get an email every time we drop anything out on Patreon. So it'll tell you where the video is. No ads. We can do a bit more. We can actually look at and watch a few things that will be copyrighted through YouTube and stuff, but we can do them on the Patreon. So get involved.
All good. All good. And for those listening, watching, please do hit the like button, hit subscribe if you want to see more content from us. Comment down below. Let us know how you got on so far this game week and any transfers you're thinking about for next week for game week 7, anything we may have missed. It is, occasionally we say things that people completely disagree with, and that's fair. So people, please just pop those down in the comments. Always like to be corrected as well. It's always for us to learn some more, and any feedback that you've got on the pod, feel free, just chuck it down there. Final shout out, of course, goes to our friend Dan, Crypto Block Dan. If you are curious about cryptocurrency, the blockchain, NFTs, anything like that, he is an angel investor. He advises, he works with Web3 gaming companies. You can head over to hubble.social/Dan Hybell, HIBELL, Hybell. And you can grab from 15 minutes with Dan for some advice. It costs from $40, and go chat to him. He's a fantastic guy. He supports us, and we support him. Hubble.social/Dan Hybell. Which game would you like to go to first, sir?
Well, we've got two guys on the thumbnail, so we've got City or United, but let's do the first two Manchester ones first. Which ones do you want?
Let's go for the happy stuff for you. Let's go for the Haaland triple captain, Man City, in what I think was one of the most expected results of the week. We had to wait a long time. I can say we. He was only 100% owned at my rank. Yeah, we had to wait a long time for that to come to fruition. But fair play. I said on Thursday that this was the fixture, right? This was the fixture, and sure enough, there it is. 16 points. What more can you want?
Yeah, before we talk about Haaland, do we need to talk about Jadon Anthony? Because we're now 4 goals and an assist in 6 games. He's like the 4th highest point scorer in the game. He's getting he's taking corners. Tick, he's taking corners. Tick, he's very talismanic. Yeah, he's averaging 2 shots a game, which is a lot for a midfielder who's on set pieces. Yeah, playing for a promoted team. 2 shots a game's quite a lot. 12 shots in the opening 6 games and 9 of those are in the box. So
a lot. And the finish is good as well. Like the finish here as well is really, really good. The one he had the other week was a run through, like a channel run as well, wasn't it? With a cool finish. Yeah, if you need it, the only problem I see with it is that midfield is where we like to pick our guys from the top teams, and there's no fixture I really trust them in. Yeah, apart from maybe like game week 8, potentially.
We've all got
but even that's
kind of one guy, haven't we, around 6 million or below, and it's certainly something I'm sort of considering on Wildcard. Like Rangers is obviously like the default, and the fixtures are still good. And he comes off on 84 minutes, but he's still playing virtually every minute they play. I think he had about 16 baseline in this game. You kind of would expect that really at home to Burnley. But then you've got guys like Minteh. You've got guys and some exciting guys. We've been so DEFCON curious around the stack. Xhaka's going to be one we can mention a bit later. Caicedo, all those guys. But ultimately, this guy ticks every box we would want to have for a cheapo that you can just that have been around like every season. Like Rodgers, for example, comes in last season as a 5.5, and you're like, oh, this guy is so likely to be involved if they score. Well, this guy is so likely to be involved if they score. It's just really hard to put a Burnley guy in. But if anybody has, smashing.
Yeah, I just find that hard. I mean, what is he like for DEF CON? Is he? I haven't had a look.
Who cares?
No, but it isn't. It's not. Who cares at all though? Because
I think it is still who cares for midfield. I'm going to try and say I think we should be thinking more about who cares for midfield because one goal is free DEF CON, 3 games of DEF CON, 1 goal. So anybody that can score 1 in 3 is getting DEF CON.
Yeah, okay. No, that's fair.
And if you're only DEF CON it, you're never going to get bonus. So it's more than 3 games. It's like I still think for my attackers, I want to be thinking. If they're less than 1 goal in 3, forget it. You might as well just get a DEF CON monster if they're not going to return enough on those. But realistically, like I say, a goal, 5 points plus add in, they will get some cleans, they will get some bonus, do all those type of stuff.
I mean, Jayden Anthony's not getting any cleans.
He's got 2 cleans so far this season in 6 games, mate. So he has, like he has got 2 cleans in 6 games. He's got 2 cleans, 1 assist, 4 goals.
Has he been subbed off then?
What do you mean?
Who Burnley kept cleans against? Have I missed that completely? I mean, I'm just being.
We're not going to spend time working on that. But
Fair
what
enough.
I'm saying is, as a principle, our brain in midfielders has been so clouded to what's their DEF CON. You literally said those words. What's the DEF CON? What's the DEF CON?
Yeah,
what's the DEF
that's the first thing.
And if those DEF CON guys don't get DEF CON every single week, we should be like, they have to guarantee it. And then I think they have to guarantee to be 5 million. This guy's only a little bit more and is ticking all the boxes and taking set pieces. So if he wasn't taking set pieces, I'd be like, okay, well, most times they're not going to do anything. But he is. So therefore, is like you just got everything you want. 4 big chances in 6 games is a lot. Burnley's fixtures have been the worst of all of these promoted teams.
Yeah, they've had it pretty tough.
Yeah,
they've had it pretty tough. They've played United, Liverpool, City, Spurs. Yeah,
exactly. It's not like they've been. Sunderland. We have to remember that Sunderland and Leeds have had incredibly good fixtures compared to Burnley, and he's still scoring. Sunderland have been top of the ticker for as long as since game week 1.
Yeah, that's true. And they lost the game against Burnley.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's a joke to put him in the conversation anymore. As that cheap midfielder, it's really like imagine if I wildcard this week and said I'm going to take out Rangers though and put Jayden Anthony in.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. It like logically it doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, look, he's the guy getting the points. So, and he's the guy that got
he's the guy doing the stuff. Like Rangers, we had an opening goal and assist where it was from Rangers. Then he's had an assist and got some Fugazi DEF CON, which I think should have got taken away, but obviously didn't because the game week closed. But other than that, blank. 4 very, very comfortable blanks.
Fixtures are still there for City though. He's got to do more though.
He's got to do more. Oh look, he has 3 shots in this game.
I guess that's why I was. Yeah. I guess that's why I kind of leaned into.
How can you not lean into like Rangers though? Like when he had Burnley, like everyone in wildcard had Rangers because why could you not? You know, but if you're looking past it, like is there a time where you go maybe it's not essential anymore? It's just really difficult as well when you've got Haaland because you're like Haaland needs somebody to make the goal for him, so therefore you want that second guy. It's really tough on Haaland to just have him.
Yeah, this was. Yeah, and I think this fixture was obviously the Doku fixture. I think that was, and Pep even said it like after the game. He was talking about the fact that Jeremy's so good when they're facing low blocks, and the decision making was fantastic today, and he was. I guess if they're going to be, I mean, who've City got coming up? So they've got Brentford, Everton, Villa, Bournemouth next 4.
Yeah. It
I
just
mean, I
doesn't.
can't see Brentford and I can't see Brentford. I can't see any of these teams really just sitting deep in and just creating like a full like block. Maybe
Yeah,
that's allows Rangers to have a bit more time to find Haaland, because there was nothing really in transition from City here. Like
no, and I think
all their goals came from stuff around possession around the box and just being around the box, which again we expected.
yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the next five almost in Brentford, Everton, Villa, Bournemouth, and
And
home to
Liverpool,
Liverpool.
yeah.
Home to Liverpool feels like really good transition games. Um, so yeah, I suspect if I press the Wildcard button, I suspect I'll still put Reinders in. But yeah, I want to just try and question myself this week. If is it a bit lazy? It shouldn't be because
I mean,
this is
Burnley's fixtures, as you say, that as they go, they're pretty good. Like Villa, Leeds, Wolves. Obviously, the Arsenal game, like you can park him in that game if you want.
of
West
course you would.
Ham, like those 5 out of 6, 4 out of 5.
Of
It's not
course you would.
terrible. Not terrible at all. Poor
Other than
Steve, by
that,
the way. 2 own goals.
poor Steve, poor Steve.
Poor
On
Steve.
Haaland, regardless of anything else, 7 shots, over 1 XG again.
Again. It's just
Again.
every game.
Yeah, so next week, obviously for you, who've got Saka in place, who's got Bruno, who's got Bumo, but has Haaland, can you take him on? Can anyone take on Haaland at the moment?
No.
It's really difficult, isn't it?
It's
Suddenly
hard. It's hard
it's
because
really bloody hard.
it's not like Haaland's actually, he's like a really, really, really good finisher as well. Like he gets 1.1 XG, he gets a couple of goals. Like he's a really good finisher. So it's not like when you're talking about like what's his floor, you feel like his floor is like 7 points.
Yeah, I mean that finish for the last goal. Obviously that there's some jam for us, the triple captain, in the fact that it's like two defenders go up and calamity it. They'd actually done that
Steve.
about 10 minutes before. They literally done that and given it to him.
But then again, there's
And
intelligence from him to get off
yeah,
the back of that and like I'm going to sit here and wait for them to mess
he
up.
was. He was just like, they're going to mess up. I'll do that, and they did it, and then they did it again. And he is such a good finisher that's not a huge chance. It's like, what is it, 0.1 that chance, but it felt like a massive chance. It felt like he'd missed like a 0.8 xg chance because effectively he had a clear shot on goal. But the finish to use the outside is to clip it past high on the left hand side isn't something he usually does. Like
No, no, no.
we've all seen him spin it into the right hand guard. We've all seen him slot it. He doesn't really tend to keep close body and go high and left. He's just an absurd finisher. Like we've talked about ages, but like Kane, one on one is just an unbelievable guy. But he's as good and does it at faster pace with less
Yeah,
touches of the ball.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's yeah, I think it's incredibly easy to captain him every week. I like that. That's one of the things about, as I said, I'm crystallising some of the wild card things. Do I think Haaland or Salah is now the better asset? But I don't think it's close. Even with fixtures coming up, I don't think it's that close.
No, 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 no. I think I'm pretty happy with the
Yeah.
um with the guy that I've got now. We've got a super chat quickly. It says, is Florentino a good shout for DEFCON?
He should be, because he was incredible. It was the Benfica guy. Like at one point, this is a guy who was being touted. I think Spurs tried to buy him about 3 years ago and were touted like 60, 70 million quid for this guy. And now he's over on loan at Burnley. So yeah, he should be, but I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother. Like pay the extra 500,000 and get Jane Anthony or do a stack, let's do Sunderland now. Let's just get Sunderland and Forest out of the way.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
we'll come back for Bruno. Because Stack obviously was flavour of the week. We're getting like 15 points where we got last week. But Stacker ain't as good as Shaka, basically, in my view, in this, is that he got DEFCON by half time. Like he guaranteed he's going to get them every single game. This is a guy who's scored that last season, for Arsenal. I think, what did he get, 8 or 9 goals in that season? Like he can finish. I would not be surprised at all if he's on penalties and he's taking the set pieces.
No, it's true.
as far as 5.0 guys go, he's comfortably for me the standout. If you're going to go for the, I want just a DEFCON guy, and I think the DEFCON guy is more of a case of like you've got Thiago, for example, and Richarlison. So you've got two cheaper strikers. Yeah, once you start getting like £7 million strikers or above, you shouldn't really. I just don't think you should be benching him. You should be looking to find somebody else. He is, but when it's those cheap guys, the Calvert-Lewins, the Thiagos, the Muniz, all those ones, Xhaka's just perfect to sit alongside him. But I think he really leans into, if you're going to do that, have a DEFCON only and have two incredibly cheap strikers. That needs to be if you want to be on like a Mo and Haaland draft and do both. For me, as part of that, I'm going to try and take some money out of everywhere else and just have some low floor guys that are going to tick along, because Xhaka is going to tick along.
Yeah, I mean,
he's great.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of like him and like Henderson at Brentford as well, I just think you've got this experienced Premier League top level centre midfielder, defensive mind that hasn't maybe got the legs anymore to do the the box to box that they used to do, but they've got all the knowledge and all of the skill to manage a midfield, and which means all of it's going to come through them. Like everything's going to come through them, and they're going to take charge in there. I mean, like his pass volume actually wasn't as high as I thought it would be in this game, but
it's because he hoofs it. He did like 7 clearances.
Yeah, 8 clearances.
Like, 8 clearances was it? Like if you look at his pass map, it's virtually all from inside his own box of just. But then it's drop in.
But even that is like just is clever, because that's kind of the way that Sunderland will need to progress the ball quickly, quite often this season. So
they're low key playing free at the back, but trying to tell people they're not playing free at the back, is effectively he's just dropping in and making an extra centre back. Alderete scores. I mean, you've been calling out he's the best 4.0. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He doesn't quite get to. Did he get? No, he got to DEFCON as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, comfortable.
He got the full house. Full house.
That's the second Sunderland midfielder to do this. Obviously, Ballard in the first game, the full 17-pointer.
Unbelievable. And yeah, I just think what you've got is with Xhaka and then those defenders, and they've spent good money on defenders as well. That's the other thing with them. You're like, well, like Geertruida comes off the bench like a good player.
Yeah,
like a really good player. So they're really predominantly, the fact that you've got people like Adingra they brought in sitting on the bench says to me that they're a defensive first team. They've bought a really strong holding midfielder. The keeper, Rose, like would you favour him over Dubravka? Like if you could spare the $500,000, he's. I don't think you do it if you have Raya. I don't think if you have Raya, then you don't need it, do you? You just do double.
You can go like Petrovic. Maybe
Petrovic and Rose is definitely something I'm gonna have a look at. It's definitely something I'm gonna have a look at this week. And even Pope and see, because am I lazy to think that Sunderland Newcastle might alternate in their home and aways? Is that lazy?
No, it's not lazy. It's not lazy. Just is it? I
don't know if that works out.
It absolutely does work out.
So why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, it absolutely works out. Yeah, of course.
You get a home game every week.
Yeah, literally get a home game every week.
So Pope and Rose. Maybe that's if I think that I want Saka and Gyökeres.
There's a dream. I'm looking at this, right? Newcastle play at home to Burnley. So Sunderland play away at Fulham when Newcastle are at home to City. Sunderland are away at City, Newcastle home to Burnley. Sunderland at home to City, Newcastle away to Burnley. And then Sunderland at home to Burnley, Newcastle away to Liverpool. It's literally the perfect. It's literally the perfect perfect rotation.
I'm going to give that quite a bit of consideration. I was like, in my brain, does that work? I'm a very southern man. I don't really understand the North. I know they're both up there, but are they close enough that they always play different?
Let's just hope Borough don't come up next year or something like that.
Yeah, really.
It'll be all right.
For Forest, look, Forest obviously should have scored in this game. It's incredible that Wood misses the chance that he misses. I don't understand how that's not even more XG than again what it was.
Well, I mean, he was literally standing where Enzo scored his header from, wasn't he? He was about a yard further away. Like, yeah, he should score there.
Yeah. So as much as it's get carried away with it, is Sunderland should have conceded and Forest should have scored, but they didn't. They didn't. A guy who massively overperformed his XG at some point is not going to. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, get out, fire sale. Anything you've got in Forest, get him gone.
Yeah. Just for clarity, you're not suggesting a plan to combine Sunderland and Newcastle together. You're saying
no. I understand. No. I understand we're very separate worlds of the two of them. I'm not just saying they're the same place. Honest.
Yeah.
Just offended.
Yeah.
Small part of the country.
Good. Yeah, Alderete. I mean, again, just go back to that, just because obviously I benched him, so I'm happy with him. I think Mukiele got to 9 DEFCON as well, so he got close.
You just want the person they're aiming at, though. Like, and you can see when a guy peels off the back, you're like, oh, okay, that's a targeted man.
But I wonder how much that will change if Ballard comes back in, because obviously Ballard, if you look at the first 2 games before he got injured, he was literally the target.
Yeah.
But then also there's a conversation about whether Ballard was the starting guy, whether it was always just going to be Alderete and Mukiele, because Mukiele wasn't there right at the start, was he?
No.
So there's that argument as well, but we'll see. I'm happy to have him. Happy to have him. He can score points on my bench. It's okay. We'll survive those. Let's move on to Man United Brentford. Again, there's 1.5 XG non-pen away from home. Like, the attack's still okay. Like, there's a couple of chances in the Sesko goal as well, but
so I think the attack will always be okay for Man United, and it has to be okay because they're conceding every game. They've conceded, is obviously that they've got no clean sheets in 6. Therefore, if you're always chasing the game, that will always make the ability that you've got to attack. But there were 2 very, very important caveats in the 2.3 XG here. One is that Sesko takes 3 shots to score. So he basically adds 0.7 XG by being really bad at finishing in that first goal. So it was 1.2 XG, that total for his first goal.
I'm just looking. Yeah, he had a. Yeah, it is. It is.
And what's the first chance?
0.313. And then the second one's 0.337, and the third one's 0.353.
Okay, so 0.7 is for Ghazi because it was crap at the first time, and then he was done that. So if you just score the first one, then that's 0.7 off. So we take that off, and then you can say, well, non-penalty XG. So let's just take a penalty off, for example, and then suddenly it's
0.8.
It's 0.8. But flip it the other way around. If the sending off happens, which just I don't understand, if you give the penalty, why would the initial thing not be just send him off?
Yeah,
it's almost like the refs made it difficult by not just send him off, and then let them tell you that it wasn't a dog so, as they like to say. But if that then is a red card with 25-30 minutes to go, and if he does the red card immediately, you don't wait 4.5 minutes before that penalty happens. No. Everything can flip on its head, and what happens in that last 20-30 minutes, they probably do rack up 2 XG. So is ultimately,
but that's just games. That's game state. Yeah. But that's also game state, right? So that's how much we take that into future games. I don't know. I mean, am I comfortable taking 2 United attackers through Liverpool, for example, in a couple of weeks' time? Not really. Am I happy with 1? Yes. Like, next week's absolutely fine. Like, we've just looked at Sunderland, and Forest should have scored. Yeah. So, do I think that next week having 2 United attackers are fine? Yes, and I'm happy enough with my decision. But I think they pulled it up really, really. Like, Michael Richards was pretty good on Match of the Day last night when he was saying, if you look at the the pace of United's defense. Like Thiago just exploited that from minute one.
Yeah.
And it's really, I don't understand why they aren't more of a transitional team, United, in terms of like they should be setting up a lot deeper and then accelerating faster. When you've got players like Cunha played Wolves, this is exactly how they used to attack. Bumo played at Brentford, that's exactly how they used to attack. And Bruno is just a monster for that kind of thing. Like Sesko can just play the man up there and be the target or whatever, but how they end up with that kind of gap, I don't know. But
no, I mean, Amorim says that, doesn't he? He says, like, you know, when they lose, it's the system, and when they win, it's not the system. But ultimately, it is the system. It is the system. There's a reason why nobody else plays that system anymore. It doesn't really work in the Premier League that well unless you've got incredible players and one incredible ball player. So like Xhaka, for example, we just talked about, technically is a midfielder, but doing one of those roles which enables him to
it's not Ugarte, is it?
It's not. It's not. But then you're playing an Ugarte who's worse than it, and then three centre backs behind it. It just doesn't. None of it makes any sense. It's all there to go forward the back, and it's desperate times. What's your take on whether you think Bruno? So my things I would say about the Bruno Fernandes penalty is one is I want to see him do the skip. That's what you want to see. I don't mind if you miss the skip, but when you don't do the skip, then to me, to an extent, it says not that confident. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember when Jorginho was doing the real slow ones, and then he missed one where he did the slow, and then virtually every penalty he took after that, I thought he could miss. He could miss now, and I think his next one he took, he tried like not a quick run up, but not a slow run up either, and that's kind of what he did with this, where you're like, actually, it's just a wall. It's like a little jog up take, and it's like you've lost all superpower of what you had.
I hate the stupid run-ups. So I'll start with I hate the stupid run-ups, but then also I think they work if that's how you practice your penalties over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
The best way to run up to a penalty for me and hit it is to actually strike it properly. You know, like you're a professional footballer that gets paid to hit the ball in the right place accurately with power. Like if you're going to skip those little ones that send the keeper the wrong way and stuff, cool, fine. As long as they work.
As long as they work.
But really,
you've always made, as long as you've known, you've always said good pens one that goes
well,
in,
good pens, good pens go in. That's very simple. Like if it was any, like, so like let's if you take any other chance that is 0.8 xg or more and it doesn't go in, has the player done something good or bad? They've done it bad, right? Like there's absolutely zero question. So good pens go in, bad pens don't go in. This is a bad pen. And
Amorim said, I was not expecting Bruno to miss 2 penalties in a row. That's what he said.
He might be off pens.
He might be off pens.
It's a good thing I got Bumo then, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously Bruno missed his last one for Brentford, but like ultimately, he's a better penalty taker. It's a bit like when the thing is though, is I do think about the fact of when Mo went through a bit this last season, we all knew that McAllister was a better penalty taker, but did he ever lose it? No, he didn't.
But what did he start doing? This is the thing. What did Mo start doing?
Thumping.
Started smashing the shit out of it. Yeah, he started just smashing it. And
when Bruno smashes it, they go over. Like we've seen him do that.
That's the problem.
And that's the bit where it's like if he'd have done a stutter run up miss, I still think he'd be on pens. The fact that he didn't do stutter run up makes me actually more anxious that he would keep them. I really, really would like to try and find that information because, like you say, they're playing Sunderland. Bruno, if he's still on pens, is still a really good asset because what we shouldn't take away from this, 3 pens in 6 games.
Yeah, loads.
We talked before, as in the way this team is sort of lined up with the sort of wingers and wing back type things is 4 guys that could get fouled. And it's playing out. So the penalty taker is really, really important. If Bumo becomes the penalty taker, he's an automatic pick for everybody. Everybody.
Yeah. Because
he's not playing centre midfield. He is playing, last man a lot of the time, a huge amount of the time. The penalty itself, claim is that he wasn't in control of the ball and that's why there wasn't there. Well, he couldn't be in control of the ball. But let's just say he doesn't take the pull. Then he scores this, and then Bournemouth's the better asset. That's how it works
Yeah.
in this game. But like he was the guy got him behind. Um, yeah, we need to hope. We need to hope that they ask Amarim the question next weekend. And you don't want anyone them to ask the question at all because you got both of them.
I got both of them, so I'll take whoever is the penalty taker, and I'll just enjoy the penalty
out next weekend.
Yeah, what's going to happen is Cunha is going to step up, isn't he? Can you imagine that?
Yeah. What I did notice, so I did check this because I'm a pervert, was just before that, whilst we had the 4 minutes of waiting around, I went and checked bonus because I wanted to try and work it out. And obviously, you only get 15. Was it 15? No, 12. 12 points for a penalty
12 points for a penalty now, yeah.
It wasn't actually a lot of bonus. I think he was on 10 at the time. So because you obviously already had Wissa was on. Oh, sorry, Wissa. We'll talk about him in a second. Thiago was on 60 odd, and obviously Sesko scored, so he was on about 33 at the time.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have taken him above those two, if he'd scored the pen. And therefore, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, definitely would have been huge. Wouldn't have been huge, but yeah, and he wouldn't have got near Henderson either.
No.
So 5-point pen.
But if he'd scored the penalty and they'd had a man sent off, and then you've got the 90-minute man running to the end, at that point it's 2-2. You only see one winner coming in at that point, so therefore I wouldn't be disheartened if you own Bruno Fernandes. It's definitely it doesn't put me off him at all. The penalties bit is the only thing that would put me off him.
Yeah.
Thiago, fixtures are not ideal. I think what you've done is right in that you have the ability to bench him because you've got 5 very, very strong. You've got 7 other strong attackers, haven't you? So therefore,
six and Richarlison.
6 and like he's got 4 goals now. He gets a brace in this. And he obviously got a penalty early on. So and then they've missed a penalty since Shard, haven't you? So you kind of think he probably would be back on it. Keith Andrews was talking about how selfless he is, and you're like, well, we have seen that in some other games where he hasn't had the shot. You know, he's almost got books. He's doing a lot of the work. He hasn't had the shot, but he did talk about like he's now getting into rhythm and he's now seeing some confidence. And you're like, okay.
Well, if you twat it in from the edge of the box like he did, then yeah, you're pretty confident.
Yeah. There's strong argument that because you've obviously got the Whistle form, haven't you, as well, of like 20 open play goals, that you just say, do you think the guy's slightly cheaper than him? When you start get to the Fosters, the Calvert-Lewins, the Muniz of this world, do you think they're as good as this? Or should you be finding the 6 million to get Thiago? Feels probably a little bit worth it. I can see him coming away with probably as many goals, if not more goals than Strand Larsen, who's a little bit more now. I would if you were asking me my pecking order, I'd put him above Strand Larsen, I think.
Even with the fixtures that they've got, like Wolves' fixtures are obviously much, much better. And I mean, we'll talk. I guess we'll talk about Spurs in a sec.
I just think what we are seeing from Brentford here is big chance and few of them, which normally means the striker scores. Let's do it. Let's go Wolves, Spurs.
Do it.
You've obviously got a huge chance for the goal from Wolves, but apart from that, I thought Strand Larsen did a load of work. But I like the guys around him. I like Manetzi, I like John Harris if he's playing. Like I like all those guys that are around him. I can see them getting goals from many, many different places. João Gomez always pops up with the odd goal. I don't know. I think he's probably a little bit less selfless, but I also feel like the goals are a little less predictable with Wolves. I thought Wolves were really good against us. They tried to sucker punches. They've had a really good recent record against us, and it kind of felt like they knew that. We were bad.
I really hate those weird kind of stats like that though. There's so many variables that say like, oh yeah, Spurs haven't, Wolves are the bogey team last 5 years. I mean, we've had 3 different managers and
It
30
doesn't help
different
the
people through the
fans, though, does
door.
it? Like
No,
we're a
I
little
guess
bit
not.
like we know it, and they're a little bit like they know it. So that there is some just energy, a bit of oh, okay, okay. We were bad. Like we
I mean,
we're
we were
now
bad, but we
becoming
also could
quite.
have been 2-0 up in the first half quite comfortably, and then we would be saying there's no issue. But what happens is we go 1-0 down in that second half through a goal that was, just a big scramble and a bit of crap goalkeeping. And well, it could have been
Bad
better. I don't think it's crap, but I think it could have been better.
patty
I mean,
pat.
like he punches it there rather than there or whatever. Like, okay, split second decision making.
Yeah.
But then it's a scramble, right? And we never really found any kind of rhythm. They defended really, really well, which, when you consider the games that we've seen them against Leeds and things like that, like there are pockets and normally moments where their defensive structure just breaks into pieces and you're like, oh, cool, we can get through that. But at the same time, that worked well for Leeds with like runners, and we didn't have any kind of runners in behind. Like Brennan was brought on too late and didn't really fit there. Actually, I think he probably would have been better on the left, but yeah, it weren't great from us.
I didn't mind that. I think the Brennan experiment has not worked at all on the left, and but you are by doing that.
Well, we say not worked. He's literally scored in the first game of the season, but
it scored the first game of the season. I just think it doesn't work so much on a team when they're sitting in because he can't. But it didn't actually work. It doesn't work even when he sits on the right either because he can't really beat his man either, and his crosses are not particularly great. Like ultimately, he should just be like throw him in the box if you needed to, and that play him as an extra striker. Like don't do winger for winger. And what we did do is there before we moved Kudus was the bright spark of the whole thing for us. Is he looks comfortably our only attacker where you're like, okay, if you own him in FPL, I don't mind it now. I think we've seen enough now that like obviously I've punted in on Xavi that I'm like not for me not a pick not a pick is for two reasons. One, it's like he's not quite sharp enough. He looks knackered like really quickly in games. I feel like the pace of it is something he's got to get up to. But I don't think we're up to his speed either. The number of times he tried to do stuff and we weren't ready for it. Like he's trying to be a little bit more dynamic than we are. It's almost like he's trying a little too hard. It looks like at times, but I think that's partially our fault.
I think there's a piece around the relationship between Xavi and Udogie, because I feel like that hasn't worked 2 weeks in a row, and it kind of worked in the first game with Spence. I think this is going to go back to the I don't think Porro should have been rotated thing, and I guess like we've got to put our hands up on that one. Me and you personally, because we thought that Porro should start. We thought that he wasn't going to get rotated, and like he did. There is a piece that just says like we are not the managers of the football club, so take anyone's opinion on the internet with a pinch of salt.
Spence was bad again, though. This is the thing. Spence is actually not playing very well at the moment. Like this is as much as it's. I think we should claim we were right here because we were better once Porro was on that pitch. When Porro started spreading the longer ball, the most ridiculous part of this was that Xavi Simons was out on that left, and the number of times he had those pinged balls at him, and all of them missed him. And I was like, all you really want is if you're going to play him on the left, is you want Porro on the far right because the only person who can do that ball well and the only person that's good at runs within like a minute of Porro being on, he almost put Richarlison through or see his back, didn't he? But like he is our best long passer. That all we really have in progression right now is Romero and Porro. You have to play him every game. Everything else will work if they're playing, but you can't trust it because Thomas Frank said I've got 3 good fullbacks, so I'm going to try and keep them fresh. And you're like, well, that's dead. Can't like whoever we're all going to be, whichever 2 play Tuesday, and Udogie will not play Tuesday because he's still coming back. They're not trying to play him. So then you almost know it's a straight fight out next week between Spence and Porro.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not ideal. It's not ideal as a Porro owner. Again, one thing to tick me towards probably need to wildcard, get these guys gone. And like I say, Xavi over Kudos looks. I thought it was pretty close going into this game. I watched this game and I was like, it's not close. It's not. Obviously, Kudos gets the offside goal, but just even that in itself, it was like he's the only really nice thing to see.
Yeah, agreed.
Frank looked fuming in his presser. If you watch the presser, if you watch like was at Beanie Man Sports where they have all the pressers. Just look at his face like during that. Like he does all the nice stuff when he has the post match interview. Go watch the presser. He looked pissed. Um,
I haven't watched
so
that yet.
yeah. He definitely did not look particularly happy. Which is, you know, you don't see it very often, but I was quite pleased to see him that because I think we all came away pretty frustrated with it.
Yeah, agreed.
On we go.
Agreed. On we go.
Liverpool. Got to Liverpool. Liverpool
Definitely.
Palace.
Like, what a performance this was by Palace. I don't think I've seen anybody take on Liverpool like this in the first half of a game yet.
This Palace is
Palace are
so
a
good in
problem.
transition, and Liverpool, it's been coming. It's been coming. Like somebody had to take them down when they're so open on the break, and Glasner is just unbelievable. They've got to get a good contract on Glasner immediately. Like there's too many. Maresca and Amorim, like you wouldn't back particularly that either of them even make it through the season. I think there's a very decent chance of that not happening. And Glasner's got a year left on his contract. They need to get that locked down because he's just made for that club. They love him. He seems to love it there. He gets to have the fun where this is the type of team that you want for him. They're great. Mateta looked like he was having fun. And he looked like he had so much more fun because he had Sarr effectively in front of him. He dropped in a lot and did like almost 10 stuff. It felt second time he used Kane tonight, but it felt a bit Kane-esque the way he kept dropping in and doing stuff and spreading the ball around, and then even the banger, the long distance banger. He caused them such a big problem because obviously if he drops, Van Dijk can't go with him because Van Dijk needs to sweep. So
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
really clever in that Sarr goes ahead of him when it's the more mobile guy. So you're not doing the physical battle with the physical guy, and then you're actually doing the mobile with the physical guy, and then Kanate is just well um, off it. But they're really clever. They're just a really clever team, smart staff,
This is,
ripped them
but it's
apart.
all of them are a danger. Like every single one of them are a danger. Mateta's a danger. Like Jeremy Pino's come in, looks good as well. Like
Looks like it's been there a long time.
Mitchell get into that byline. Like there's I don't think there's a pairing, like a fullback pairing since kind of Robbo Trent that had this kind of relationship between them. And like Mitchell's running in
Yeah.
behind is immense. Munoz, so when you watch the Munoz chance, do you actually watch him like eye up Kirkes as he's running? I honestly, it's absolutely incredible.
Predatory.
He's
Yeah.
He's literally watching his movement, and he's like, I'm going to make him think I'm going down wide. As soon as he gets close enough to make a difference, he switches up, goes inside, and he's got 3 yards of space on him, like loads of space. And like the only reason Liverpool actually even had a chance in this second half was obviously Alisson, who was fantastic in this game.
Yeah. Again, thinking about Alisson, like, is it actually? Can you just take away a Liverpool spot and just stick him in? What did you see Slot's comments about Frimpong?
I did not.
Or we can only blame ourselves for defending the way we did. One of our players ran out because he wanted to play counter attack, which was of no use because time was up. One player was too offensively minded in that moment, which led to them scoring the winner and us losing the game.
Oh right, the guy at the back post where they actually scored.
You are done, Mr. Frimpong. We can safely say, mate. Now
he's not
he
a
ain't
starter.
first choice.
No, he's not first choice.
But
not first choice.
Kirkes is a bigger. Kirkes is. I mean, Truffert is making Kirkes look bad because
He's just not very. He's just not very good.
He's not very good.
He's just not a very good player.
I think that's fair enough to say that he just runs up and down. And if you're not going to use a guy just running up and down as a workhorse, yeah, it's a bit Chilwell, isn't it? Really, realistically, Chilwell it was good in a three and a back team where you just say go up and down, go up and down. And Kirkes is quite a similar guy in that it's a great, and then suddenly, oh, we're not going to play to your exact strengths. Well, actually, you're completely useless. Yeah, Van Dijk must just be like, what am I doing here? I've got no one to play with me. I don't know. Robertson, as I said, I would actually just play Robertson 90 minutes every game until you don't need to, or they've got to pick a competition they play in because so good.
Jagan asks, super chat, thank you very much, man. Asks, amazing result was there watching the boys. What was your take on PGMOL with the Salah handball?
It was quite hard to see it, so I couldn't really get my head around it a lot to try and work out. I mean, obviously, I was looking at the time trying to see if I might get a Salah assist off it. But I was like, hold on, no, if they disallow this, then I can't possibly get a Salah assist, really. But they allow it. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't really get around it. But I mean, Verts misses an absolute sitter. That's um that's a problem.
You should just score that.
You should just score it. I mean, I've been trying to defend Mo a little bit with this and saying, look, once it becomes a Verts, Isak, Mo, then let's see where we're going with it. Now, if I was trying to defend it, I would say again, well, Palace were really good, and Chelsea. Let's do Chelsea next, but Chelsea have got no defenders. So if there's a time to keep Mo, it's probably against Chelsea next week. But it's hard to keep a guy when you're kind of reliant on penalties, and then the issue with penalties is they don't get the bonus they used to. One of the great things
It's
about
not
Mo, when
as-
you get that penalty, you get 8 points from it.
Yeah, it's obviously not as damaging for the midfielders as it was for the strikers. But yeah,
It's still enough though, isn't it? Like, it's still enough to be like, well, 6 points is a lot in the grand scheme. 6 BPS is a lot in the grand scheme of things when you're a midfielder. It's quite hard sometimes to get it, especially now you're going to have Isak, obviously, and Ekatike, and they both will play in games going forward. So previously, last season, when you'd have had, so Darwin and Gakpo were both strikers, I think, last season, but obviously Darwin didn't score any goals. And even Gakpo was out on the left wing a lot of the time, and Diaz was up top. So therefore, he was making a lot more, doing a lot more work, and not always being the goal scorer. But if your centre forward is either going to be Ekatike or Isak, and they score, and then Mo gets a pen, he's never overtaken them.
no. I think this game as well. I mean, look at his XG. This game was what, like 0.5?
Your free shots for about 0.5.
Yeah, but one of those wasn't really a shot, was it? One of those was kind of just. I mean, one of them he blocked Soboslai's shot. Basically, stopped it from going in.
Yeah,
Like there's no control over that. It's just basically 0.3 of his XG has come from a deflection, essentially.
Yeah.
I just think it's just crap. When the other guy we're talking about is getting 1 XG a game, like it just go to the other guy.
Yeah, and
just work it out.
Don't probably compromise enough to have both, is my feeling.
Yeah.
I know the fixture is going to get good in Gameweek 8, and we're going to look at it, but you're like, they will play some other guys, and actually maybe you do just take the punt on the cheaper guys.
All the other guys can contribute, whereas, like, I mean, Yates has outscored him, hasn't he, so far this season?
Yeah.
Played about 12 minutes.
Yeah. 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 I think you can move off and try and work out where to get back later.
Yeah.
I don't mean, like you said last week, the more people move off, actually it doesn't hurt you that much if you stay on. If you stay off for a bit, it doesn't hurt you that much.
Yeah.
Wait till it hurts you.
Yep.
Make him force. It's almost like make him force the decision to say, I'm worth 14 million quid.
Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Yeah.
Leeds versus Bournemouth. I mean, I'm going to use this one before the Chelsea game because of the red card and stuff. But just on this one, Longstaff was amazing. Like, just unbelievable. Another one.
And taking the set pieces over Stack.
Yeah.
Taking the set pieces over Stack. Longstaff.
I mean, I think you're a little bit lucky as a Rodon owner to get the points that you did. Because
as a Rodon and Semenyo owner, Semenyo managing to guarantee that Rodon gave me the goal by taking the ball away from the keeper, it just adds to the joy.
I don't even like it takes a tiny flick, like the tiniest of flicks, but it's got to be one of the worst dives I've ever seen for a. It was terrible.
When you're thinking about stuff like that, like for me, I was saying like, oh yeah, maybe I could do Petrovic, and you're like,
and then that happens.
Briar's just there.
Yeah.
Joe Rodon. It will be very tough for me to leave him for Alderete. It will be very tough because he's just been so good to me. They're stinky. He's good on corners. He feels like I don't feel there's anything in between like a Joachim Anderson and Rodon. I feel like almost the same player to me watching them. It's like they both play in white. They just look like the same sort of player. Rodon now is trying to get the haircut that Joachim Anderson used to have. It's like they're just becoming
trying to be the same guy
for me. Yeah, and they can play ball. There'll be a focal point for set pieces. They'll play 90 minutes every week. Just like him.
He's also ex-Spurs, right? So you're always going to have that affinity.
Yeah, I don't really. I never really think of him as ex-Spurs because we didn't really ever give him the chance. But there's a strong argument to just have Rodon and Alderete, have them both. It's just how would you work out which one to play each week? Because
I've got Goodmanson and I don't like it, but then again, I'm like, I'm going to have it for 1 week and then I'm going to move on with my life.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's easier to play Alderete over Goodmanson in a strange way because I think Goodmanson, what you want with Goodmanson is that he is a bonus whore. So therefore is you really go Goodmanson when you think the clean sheet is nailed, and other than that, you just stick him last bench. With Rodon or Alderete, you're like, I always won't mind playing them because they could get me the DEFCON.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got done, didn't he? He was on 10, and then during the Spurs game, he dropped one.
Oh, Rodon.
Yeah.
So
Rodon was on 10 and then went back to 9. So effectively, whilst I was watching that Spurs game, I was like, I had Porro and Xavi. They both got 1 point, but Rodon lost his 2 points. So I gained no points during that game with having 2 Spurs at home to Wolves.
Thanks very much. And the Semenyo goal pissed me off as well because, like, you literally set up this wall so that you block the one that's low. Like, surely as a keeper, you're supposed to cover the rest of it. Like, I've got that guy in there. It covers that bit. I'll cover this bit, and it just goes straight through. And
Senesi's just a baller. Senesi's a play every week. Just godly. It's gonna go to 4.9 tonight, but I think it's still. You'd happily pay 5 million for him. You've got people like Mazraoui at 4.9 and those type of things. Like you'd happily pay.
Yeah, but no one's
picking.
no one's picking.
No, what I'm saying is like everyone like, well, people are thinking like Senesi now is getting a bit expensive if you haven't got him yet. I'm like looking at him like, oh my god, I'd happily pay 5 million quid for him right now. For me, he's probably a better asset than Tarko, and for Tarko's, obviously more than that, much more than that. He's no-brainer for everybody. He's going to go to the point where everyone's going to have to play him every single week because he's got all of the ability to do well. I mean, for me, as a Rodon but non-Senesi, that goal was horrific at the end because it gained 4 points for Senesi because he got the bonus plus he got the assist, and I lost because Rodon was off 2 bonus at that point. So I lost 2 bonus plus that. So it was a 7-point swing at that goal. Scored by Creeper Jr. Is it big to say that Evan Nilsson's a dud?
I don't think so. He hasn't scored. Has he scored yet this season? If I'm thinking about whether he's scored yet this season, he's not done very well. Right?
He's won a penalty. That's about
he's won a penalty. Is that it?
Which is. But I'm like.
Oh no, he scored at Spurs. Sorry, yeah.
He scored at Spurs. But he's so limited in that he's just trying to be a tap-in merchant and nothing else that I don't get it. I don't really get it. Like as an asset, can't pay 7 million quid for him.
But they don't have those players though. That's the thing. When you look at like Clivert, Tavernier, Semenyo, Christie, Scott, like all of these players, these aren't like these aren't byline guys, right? They don't get down to the wing.
They
and cross
shoot
it
themselves.
in. They shoot themselves. Exactly. So yeah,
So it's
I'd say
rebounds. It's
Evan
rebounds, tap
Nilsson.
ins, scrambles.
But the problem is Evan Nilsson will still start, right? So I think it's fine if you want to bottom out at Krupa Jr. I think he'll still start.
I think he will. But Krupa Jr. is what, 18, 19? Like at some point, maybe they just
there might be a switch over.
Maybe we'll just play him the odd game. Because maybe that position's like the least important in a strange way.
Yeah.
For them. Ultimately, Iriola just wants the guy to press. Like that's really the two things that he wants from his striker is they press the hell out of the opponents and that they're there for the scrambles and rebounds. And that's what Evan Nilsson's doing. Krupa just needs to run further than Evan Nilsson and suddenly he can play.
Yeah.
He's a tempter. Obviously, it does mean that you're almost certainly going to triple out on Bournemouth because you'd have Semenyo and you'd have Senesi and then you'd have Krupa, so therefore you've got no options for them. But I think that's okay. Albeit, talking about the other defenders, Diakite, like they've bought incredibly well. Just a little salute to them. Like losing Howson and losing Kirkes and replacing him with Truffert and Diakite, they look like they've been there the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said that you will cancel the pod if I buy Dominic Calvert-Lewin this week. You said that to our friend John McKenzie earlier before we started the pod, that you would cancel the pod.
Did I say cancel the pod?
I think that's what you said, yeah.
Hold on, let me just double check. That. Yeah, I think I might have said that. I'm considering getting DCL in. Cancel the pod. You've crossed the line. Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
That's what you said.
Why would you get him in?
I feel like it was like literally the same time last year we were having this conversation and you were like, it's DCL, can't pick DCL.
It's DCL, you can't pick him.
No, I don't know.
I'm not giving you any more. I'm not giving you any more justification. Like, look, if you're just gonna, you might as well just buy the cheapest guy in the world and then just stick it. Buy Obi, mate. Just buy Obi at Manchester United.
We buy Krupa. Just buy Krupa and just take your 1 pointers for playing 10 minutes off the bench, in your bench boost, or it's
or it's buy DCL and get 2 points.
Yeah, or it's find the money to get to Thiago. That's really where it is.
Yeah,
$500,000. Or Muniz. So I will be on Muniz watch for Fulham later.
Last game, Chelsea versus Brighton. Game of two halves and all this stuff. You know, the game changes when the red card happens.
Mm-hmm.
Brighton just completely nothing until that point, though. Like, just offered absolutely nothing.
We can claim some glory for being probably the only people shouting out Enzo in the last week. So while he's got the point,
so much so that you managed to convince me to go on him. Like, I just was replaying in my mind that
I didn't know you were going to go about Semenyo though. So to be fair to you, is that because he's technically like your Semenyo replacement, isn't he? So it worked.
Well, no, he was there instead of Caicedo.
Oh, I'd have liked you to add Semenyo and Enzo, but
just reminding myself who my Semenyo guy.
We expected him to play.
Saka's my Semenyo replacement, mate.
Oh yeah. We expected him to play in the 10. I expect him to continue to play in the 10, and literally the only thing that is nagging at me on him is that game week 8, the international. It is because it's a good fixture. You probably want him in that game week 8. You want him obviously for bench boost, but will he play straight after international? If there was anything, like for example, he's not in the squad, or there was anything that would help me, or for any Chelsea fans, Harry, anyone watching this, that you think, how do you feel about his minutes for game week 8? Please let me know, because I am, again, very Enzo interested, because he's great. He's really good. That position that he scored in is exactly where I expect him to be all the time. He's so good at that, lurking and be there and score the header. That's not like the first time he's ever done that. His timing of his runs into the box are really good. And if he's on pens,
that makes him much better.
And I do think, I know people think it would jump. I think it will be Enzo. I just think he's got the bigger dog in him. in this team. I think he's a leader in this team.
Is João Pedro an issue though with no Delap and Palmer? Are they the two
Yeah,
players that really kind of unlock the best that you can get from Palmer? Because there's not so much. You feel like he does the stuff. So I feel like with Palmer, with João Pedro, he does the stuff when they're there, even though he's supposed to do the same stuff when he's not there. Like you just feel like he doesn't have that quite energy that he does when they're around.
he needs someone. He needs
It's a bit of
someone doing his
positioning
work.
as well.
He needs someone doing the. He's not the person to be doing the work. He needs someone around him so that he can take out. He's quirky, you know. Is quite similar to like Ivan Toney as a striker when you play about the number 9. He takes some unusual positions. You expect him to be in the middle when he's not quite there. So therefore, you need people with him that are going to like replace him in that space. You need like a Madueke. That's what you need. Somebody that would be like really, really selfish and get inside. So, you know, with Tony, used to see it with Bumo, they would be really good how they would tandem it. You know, if he wants to pull wide, then the other one goes in front. You know, it works with Cole Palmer. If Pedro decides I'll stop, he does some really interesting like checking of the runs that as the attack's going, he slows down rather than accelerates. Well, if there's a guy to overtake him like Palmer, or there's a person to come off the wing and take that spot in the middle like a Madueke, I get it. When it's someone that's also a little bit selfless like Neto, who's a worker, or Estevao, who's just still really, really young and raw, I'm not so sure on it. The place he touched the ball most out of everywhere was the centre circle, you know, in this game. All of his touches are outside the box. Like he's not pushing the opponent team. He didn't have a single shot.
Isn't that like 4 games now? He hasn't had he's had like 0.15 XG in his like last 4 games.
What's he scored? Like 5, I think something like, it's like 5 open play goals, the most he scored since in his career or something like that in a season. So you can get that. We just got a note in the chat. Gregorius Papas says he missed out.
Oh yeah, he missed out. So yeah, so Enzo wasn't involved in internationals last time round because of a red card. So he will be called up for the next one, which is fine. Yeah, we expect that to happen. Yeah. And I guess it's just looking at the turnaround. I mean, for me personally, with him in there, you know, I'll have 3 transfers, so I should be able to get a steer on
exactly. You've got
whether I need to move him on or not. And so I think, you know, with anything post international break, just wait until you get as much information as possible, and then make the decisions that you need to make.
Slightly more difficult if you're thinking of bringing him in, though. The last thing you want to do is bring a guy in and then have to bring him straight out again. Because it's easy. You've got him now. You got him for the really good fixture where you were guaranteed to get him in the 10. That was the smart thing to do. Yeah. So as much as we said last week, Enzo's the guy. And I totally, obviously, we would go with that. I'm not sure he's still the guy because you're getting him in for a Liverpool game. Well, look, Liverpool look pretty leaky in defence, and Chelsea are going to have to score because they've got nobody at the back. But then you go into an international break, and that makes him just a little bit ickier than. Like if I'm now looking at Enzo versus Sarr, I'm going Ismaila Sarr, even though the not quite as good.
Of course,
he's comfortably for me the standout in that option. As a cheaper option, is what we've seen is I think Minteh. So Mitoma does quite well when most of the analytics, you know, solves and so forth. One of the first things I would do would be ban Minteh and ban Jorginho.
Ban Mitoma, you mean?
Sorry, ban Mitoma. Thank you. Good correction. Because I'd want to see if Minteh comes up over those ones because you take Mitoma off and you move when you know against a sort of weakened team effectively, and you move Minteh from the right to the left. That's a great sign for Minteh. 5.9, really strong.
Yeah. But minutes, no?
Minteh's not an issue for minutes. Minter's the opposite now, the minutes issue type stuff. Like I say, if Matoma comes
Yeah, I
off
suppose.
and
Yeah.
Minter stays on, that's really good news. Is it always going to be an issue for minutes for any Brighton attacker? That's the bit that you have to wrestle with, and therefore do you go just don't bother because is they are all a problem, aren't they? Welbeck comes on, scores 2. You're like, well, oh, okay, so Welbeck will start next week, and then what does that mean, and all that stuff. Diego Gomez scores like 4, whatever is a midweek, so bang, you're starting in the 10 this week. Like
Yeah.
I'd almost there's part of me that says, well, I love the fact that Minteh started on the right, Matoma came off, and Minteh went onto the left, which shows that he's like more important. And then he almost, or the what I don't really understand why it's not a penalty that when he got booted in the face. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Boot him in the face? No, not a penalty. I don't get it.
No evidence of contact. I don't know what. So just on that, I don't know what they expected to see. Like Minteh stands up and he's got like a rake mark down his.
I can't fathom it.
Anyway,
but obviously, if he gets the penalty, then you've got 2 assists in this game. When we were talking earlier about should you be looking for a DEFCON guy, should you be looking for stuff, if he only gets 1 assist in a game, well, it's only 1 more point to get DEFCON. So do you take it on someone where you're like, well, he might be a slight minutes risk, albeit, yeah, I mean, like against us, he played 75. Obviously he played the full 90 in this. What did he do in the Bournemouth game? Played the full 90 against Bournemouth. So the minutes are
pretty good.
Minutes are reasonable. Played 89 against City. I think it's safe to say that he played the 90 against Everton. They're good. I think, like I say, I think comfortably, if you're looking for a Brighton guy, it's got to be Minteh. Cheapest and best. Good winning combination. And he took some set pieces, which I've never seen him before take. I don't know. I've said early in the season, I'm not sure I'll have a Brighton guy all season because it's all a bit hard to pick. And again, you're putting Minteh up against that. People like Jadon Anthony. Is he any different to Jadon Anthony?
He's in a better team.
He's in a better team, but yeah. He's returned his last 3 games. But would you just go Rangers over both of them? Or would you even just go, I'll take a bit, or would you go Caicedo, or would you go Stack or Xhaka and save a bit of money and get your guaranteed floor?
I would probably go Caicedo and get my guaranteed floor. And then I'd move Enzo to Sarr, and then everything's all good from there. Like I'd want the Chelsea coverage, but
I think you end up you could end up benching quite a few points for Minteh.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So Chelsea, Sanchez has not been fun. Their defense is getting worse. Again, if you're still with Sanchez and Sells, I think Sanchez and Sells are going to accelerate a lot of wildcards. People that were looking at third to game week 13 that had Sanchez, for example, I think they're going to get real twitchy. People that were looking at game week 8, like me, with Sells and Sanchez, all of us are going to be like, Raya's right there. Pope's the same price. They feel better.
Cool. Let's wrap it up just because I know you need to shoot off. It is midday, and we've got obviously the Fulham Villa game to come and Arsenal Newcastle today. So if you're watching that, hopefully you get the points that you need from that. Weird feeling. Obviously, I want Arsenal to lose. If it can be something like, 4-2, Raya gets a bunch of saves, Saka scores a couple of goals, then we'll take that.
It's not unusual. It wasn't too long ago. We had a 4-all, the old Czech Toyota game. That was incredible fun. So you take that a 4-all, and you can have 4 Saka goals. You'd enjoy that.
4-3. Can we have Newcastle 4-3? Arsenal defeat.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I need a Gyökeres blank though. I need a Gyökeres blank today.
Saka can get them all. It's fine. Just like
I
Trossard
kind of
assists,
want that.
stuff that doesn't matter.
If I'm honest, obviously I'm looking this week and thinking about which Arsenal ones do I want. I'd much rather have Vaneze or a Saka than I would a Gyökeres. It would make me feel happy having those. I'd like that to happen. You can't help but think though, as I said, Gyökeres, if he's playing number 9, and all you need to do is, if there's a 90 minutes from Gyökeres, and then I'm going to be a bit, okay.
Yeah, because I think from next week he'll start just to flat track bully.
Yeah,
potentially. And like if he pops off today, it's like, oh, okay, and everyone goes there. Feels really, really easy to do so. It's weird because next week then I'm looking at, for me personally, obviously with no Gyökeres, I've got Saka, but what do I think is going to work better? Do I work with Bumo or Bruno and Bruno? Or can I take one of them down to one of those 5 cheapies and then and get Gyökeres? Because I can just take Richarlison to Gyökeres, or I won't take Thiago up because I need him for bench boost 8. But
I think you need to wait for Gameweek 8, don't you? Effectively, ideally what you do is
sit on my hands.
Sit in your hands for Richarlison against Leeds and both your Man United guys against Sunderland, and hope that outscores the cheapo plus Gyökeres next week. But it could easily be a swap that you make in Gameweek 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as China 1000 says, we need to see a Saka penalty. That's what we need to see, because that will change.
I'd love that.
That will change a few things.
I'd love that. For a guy that hasn't wildcarded yet, you want the transition to be towards Saka, not towards Gyökeres.
Yeah. Agreed. Guys, thank you very much. Over 550 of you in the chat watching today live. If you're watching back, thank you. Make sure you do hit the like button on the way out of the stream. And let us know in the comments what you're doing again. Shout out to Crypto Block Dan. Shout out to our patrons who'll be doing the Beat Baker draw after this game week. So somebody's going to be winning a bottle of whiskey. If you want to get involved, patreon.com/above average FPL. Have a good afternoon. Let's no, hold on. Whoa. We have to talk about, do we need to talk a bit more about the Ryder Cup? Or do we just need to talk about the fact that it's been an absolute whitewash?
You can see our faces. As much as I'll be like, oh, it's about the Ryder Cup. I said earlier, we got asked about it, and should we do a timestamp around the Ryder Cup? I think you can see our faces. It has been a phenomenal few days for Team Europe. Let's just make sure let's not go early. Let's just make sure we get over the line tonight, and I'm sure we can reflect on it.
Sounds good, mate.
Maybe we could we could find 15 minutes. Maybe do a little Patreon Ryder Cup pod if people want it.
Okay. Sounds good. Have a good afternoon. Speak to you later. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
We